Are you ready to elevate your pickleball event to the next level? At Base to Pickle, we specialize in bringing your tournaments to life with expert commentary and compelling content creation.
Welcome to the Base to Pickle Show, everyone. I'm Uncle Muggs alongside Raul de Castro, and today we're bringing you episode number 5 of season 2. So stay tuned. You're going to love this episode of the Base to Pickle Show.
Are you ready to elevate your pickleball event to the next level? At Base to Pickle, we specialize in bringing your tournaments to life with expert commentary and compelling content creation.
Welcome to the Base to Pickle Show, everyone. I'm Uncle Muggs in the Miami studios. Raul's coming to us from the Weston studios, and our guest today is Dr. Eric Korem. He's a podcaster, and his work can be seen on Sports Illustrated, CBS Sports, ESPN, Inc. magazine, and many other publications. His podcast, The Blueprint, has over 538 episodes. And Dr. Eric, I'd like to welcome you to the Base to Pickle Show.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome, Eric. It was great to learn about AIM. And when I said, this AIM is amazing, I said, Eric's got to come on the Base to Pickle Show. And here you are. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Raul.
All right, so AIM is your fitness tracker. We're going to get into that in a minute. But what we're all here for, we want to be better at pickleball. We want to increase our physical performance. And tell us, Eric, how we can warm up and what exercises are best for pickleball.
Yeah, I would think, coach, like I like to call coach because you all are coaches, but most people don't warm up before they play pickleball, right? Like you just get out of your car, you head out on the court, you start playing, and you don't do anything until you hurt yourself. Well, if we just applied about 5 minutes or gave ourselves 5 minutes before we played, we would move better. We would start faster. And I don't know about you, but my joints are aging and they would feel a lot better when we play. And so a couple basic things that you can do before you go on the court is the first thing is there's 4 parts to a really good warm up. One is you need to get your heart rate up. And so you could do that with light jogging. You could do some jumping jacks. I see people do little line drills. They do some shuffling. You just got to start getting your heart rate up, which is going to get more oxygenated blood to your tissues. The next thing is kind of like some old school calisthenics. Your joints, like your shoulder, your elbow, and your knee, they don't get direct blood flow. And so kind of like the Tin Man, he's kind of creaky until they put some oil in there. Your joints need to have what's called synovial fluid pushed into them so they're lubricated and they move really well. So things like shoulder rotations, hip circles, knee circles, flexing, extending and flexing your knee, doing ankle rolls, wrist rollers. All that does is it push fluid into your joints, and your joints are going to start moving better.
So that's what happens when I do move, because I'm one of those that likes to warm up, Doc. And after I warm up for 5 to 10 minutes, I don't hear any creaks. But Uncle Muggs knows that, man, you hear the cracking when I start to move if I don't warm up.
And if you don't warm up, you're going to lose early points too. This
Right.
was the really cool thing. We had players text messaging me and DMing me on social media that were 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 players. And they're all saying the same thing. Oh my gosh, I'm winning earlier in games because instead of going into the game, using the game to warm up, they're coming out the gate fast.
I love coming to Miami, obviously playing for the Orlando Squeeze. So we got lots of support out here.
This is FSU Pickleball, and you're watching the Base to Pickle Show.
The third part is what's called dynamic flexibility. Think about all the crazy positions you get into on the court. You want to be exposed to those before you do it on the court. So like doing basic lunges, squatting, lunging and rotating, because the game of pickleball is going to have you moving in all different directions and all different planes. And then finally, and this is where unfortunately you see a lot of traumatic injuries, like people blowing out their Achilles, is pickleball has a lot of rapid accelerations and decelerations. And so you see a lot of people, not a lot, but most often people tear their Achilles when they leave the baseline and they're accelerating to the non-volley zone. So what you want to do before you go on the court is you do your heart rate elevation, mobilization, some dynamic flexibility, and then find a line on the court and do some lateral line hopping or front and back over the line. And then I like to get people on the baseline, and then you would jog to the non-volley zone and break down, then go back. run a little bit faster, get like 4 or 5 and build up some accelerations. And now after about 5 to 8 minutes, your body's ready. It's prepared to play the game. And you're actually making your tissues a little bit more robust. And when you repeat this, not just once or twice, but week after week, month after month, you're going to move better on the court. You're going to have less pain, and you're going to start faster. All things that every pickleball player wants.
I'm getting pumped up just listening to you. Go out there. All right. So how can we track some of this? I mean, I heard you have an app or a fitness tracker that we can calculate everything that we've done, and everybody loves to record what they've done and look at it later and check out that data.
Yeah, so I built an app. So my career was in college and NFL football as a sports scientist. And so we would take data from different wearable devices and use it for human performance. And I wanted to bring that capability to anybody with a wearable. And then I found pickleball. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect sport. So whether you have an Apple Watch, a Fitbit, a Garmin, an Oura Ring, or you don't have a wearable at all, what our app does is it provides you with daily personalized recommendations for warming up, for cooling down, for mobility, joint by joint. So let's say your knee's stiff, you can do a 12-week program in our app. And we're building a feature right now. I don't know when this show is going to air, but it'll probably be out in a few weeks. But when you're done playing pickleball, you can take a picture of the court or you and your friends, and then it's going to put your statistics from the game. So how many calories you burned, how long you were out there, your heart rate, and you can share it on social media. You can put it on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I love that feature. Yes.
Yeah. So we've been seeing people doing this, and we've got all of this data, and we're like, oh, wow, we could just build that for them. So that'll be out in a few weeks. And when we do that, we're going to actually be making the app, most of the app, free to use. So
wait, what?
Free.
What'd you say?
The 4-letter word everybody likes.
That's my favorite word.
Free 99.
Yes.
Free 99.
So in a couple of weeks that'll be out, but yeah, so you can go from everything from I just want to see what I did and I want to share it with my friends to, you know what, I want to learn how to warm up, I want to cool down, I want to do resistance training programs. We can scale anywhere on your journey, but ultimately my goal is to help players be healthy and on the courts, because the community that you get to experience on the courts is second to none. You develop new friends, new relationships. I think you guys would agree a lot of lives have been changed because of this sport. And I just want to do my part to help players continue to enjoy that.
Well, to go on that, Muggs, I think he's got a great story just based on what he just said there. What inspired you to start AIM7?
Yeah, I wanted to. So in my, the world I worked in with elite athletes, we had all these amazing solutions to improve their performance. And I was like, I want to bring that to just the average person. Like, we're building a solution for 2 years. And then I got introduced to the sport of pickleball. And I realized that, wow, nobody has built a solution yet for the health and well-being of these players. And you and I see the headlines of all the injuries in the sport. Sport isn't inherently dangerous. It's just, let's be honest, people aren't treating it like a sport yet and doing warm-ups and the things that they need to do. So I saw a gap, and we saw that our technology fit that gap. And so it's just really cool. We hear stories all the time of people that are moving more, they're playing more, they're in less pain. We have mental performance or mental fitness tools on there, we call them, which help people with stress. We've had people DM us just saying, hey, like, I always thought that mental health stuff was woo-woo. And then I started using your gratitude journal every day, and I have a better mood now. Like, to me, that's like the big goal is like, let's help people stay healthy. And then maybe we can help them sleep better. Maybe we can help them have better mental health. Maybe we can help them move better and become stronger and increase their longevity. So it starts with pickleball, and then we just kind of help people in other areas of their life.
Well, Eric, Uncle Muggs and I love to say pickleball is for everyone.
Yes.
And now AIM7, it sounds like it's for everyone. So that's excellent.
Our team knows the game inside and out, delivering engaging narratives that captivate players and spectators alike. We'll provide live updates, insightful interviews, and high-energy broadcasts that highlight thrilling moments on the court. Don't leave your event to chance.
Eric, tell us what inspired you to start AIM7, because your background is awesome. The app is great, but you said something in that last minute that I thought, there's something more than just a business there? What touched you to start AIM7?
Yeah, I mean, my background in human performance, like we had all these great solutions for these world-class athletes, but I wanted to bring that capability to just the everyday person like you and me, to not only just improve like sport, but to help us with our physical and mental well-being. And so AIM7 does help people improve their pickleball game, but it's got other things in there for like sleep, for their mental health and well-being, for their nutrition, all these other things. And so it really was like, okay, how can we get in with a group of people that have been underserved, help them, have a better experience at the sport that they love, but then also help them thrive as human beings? Because really that's what it's all about. And, you and I both know that pickleball is such a special sport. The community nature of this game is really unique, and it's what it's allowing people to thrive. And so we want to help players stay healthy on and off the court.
Excellent. Excellent. Love it. We say pickleball is for everyone. Yeah. So I love to hear that you created AIM7 for everyone as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right, Dr. Eric, I want to wrap things up here by saying thank you for taking the time to being on the Base to Pickle Show. We can catch you on really all over the internet. I mean, I've seen you on different podcasts, and as well you have a newsletter. But what's the best way of our viewership to get a hold of you? Through your website?
Yeah, I would say go on Instagram at AIM7, AIM7PB is in pickleball, or my personal Instagram is at Eric Korem. And then the Blueprint podcast, which we distill cutting edge science, leadership, and life skills into real short 15-minute episodes, so you can walk away with some type of information to improve your wellness.
All right, again, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show. Stay tuned for more Base to Pickle, more interviews like this, and a whole lot more right here on the Base to Pickle Show. Welcome back to the Base to Pickle Show, everyone. I'm Uncle Muggs in the Miami studios today. Raul de Castro is coming to us from Weston, and our guest, Ryan Van Winkle, is in New York City, and he is the CEO of a platform, an app called Bounce. Welcome, Ryan. Welcome to the Base to Pickle Show.
Welcome, Ryan.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really happy to be here.
All right, let's get right into it. I mean, there's tons of apps out there, but before we get into that, tell us about you and a little bit about your background and what inspired you to start Bounce.
Sure. So I grew up an athlete playing a lot of sports. I've always had a particular love for racket sports, but there have been some parts of it I haven't particularly enjoyed. I think a lot of the way that we teach and learn racket sports is a little bit difficult. So decided to try to tackle that problem, and that's ultimately how landed on founding Bounce a couple of years ago with a childhood friend of mine.
Nice. Now let's get a little bit into, the company and some of the details of the actual product. For those who aren't familiar with Bounce, what is Bounce and what makes it unique in the pickleball space?
Yeah, great question. So we're really focused on one issue in particular, and that is the teaching and learning of pickleball. So we build all kinds of tools for players to be able to connect with coaches and track their lessons more rigorously over time. And then on the coaching side, we've built business tools for them to be able to streamline their scheduling and payments and player communication. So if you are interested in learning pickleball with great coaches, or you're a coach who wants to deliver an even better experience to players, Bounce is the place for you.
I got to say something, Ryan. I was on the website earlier today, and some of the fees that the coaches are very, very reasonable compared to like a live coach.
Right. Yeah. And that's a great observation. I mean, one of the benefits, or let me take a step back. One of the things that we do on the Bounce platform that's different than a lot of other places is that you can find coaches for on-court or in-person lessons, and you can also get remote lessons. And remote lessons meaning they're obviously virtual and asynchronous. And this is probably some of the experience you've seen, where we have a lot of great coaches who will give you remote lessons for just $10 or $15. You can submit a video to them and they'll annotate the entire video and send it back. And it's great because you can do it in your own time. The coach can do it in their own time. And also you can address some things that you might not want to spend an hour on court addressing, like court positioning, for example, or the way you communicate with your partner. So it's a really fun way to engage with coaches in a different way.
Yeah, Ryan, it sounds like you went a little bit on with that. Is that like one of the most exciting features of the platform, being able to offer that remote coaching? What are your one or two features that you're like, this is it with Bounce?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think the remote coaching is exciting, and something that we're doing on that front is allowing the remote lessons, should the coach and player agree to it, to be public, almost like watching a YouTube video experience. So Raul, if you give me a lesson and you're okay with it and I'm okay with it, we can host that lesson on the Bounce platform, and anybody in the world can come in and see the video that I've submitted to you, see all the feedback you've given to me, and even leave their own comments. So now the entire learning experience becomes more social and kind of community oriented. That's fun. Another feature that I really love is that after any kind of lesson, whether it be remote or on court, the coach and the player can kind of reflect on that lesson to talk about where they're feeling most and least confident and some of the stuff they want to work on next time. And Bounce will just remember all of that data for you. So as a player, it becomes like a diary for you for every lesson you've ever given.
Nice.
And then Bounce will start surfacing the insights up for you, right? Like telling you over the past year, your biggest issues with your third shot drops, according to these coaches, is X, Y, and Z. Here's some things you can work on to improve it. So it's a really great kind of memory tool for both the player and the coach to track their development.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Ryan from Bounce.game, and he's going to tell us more about how Bounce has influenced the pickleball community, and we'll be right back.
This is FSU Pickleball, and you're watching the Base to Pickle Show. Yes!
And Ryan, I've got to mention Lee Whitwell. I know that's one of the names that you show off on Bounce, and everyone loves Lee. Can you tell us about how that came about, working with Lee?
Yeah, well, actually, I think that's kind of the perfect story of what we're trying to do. We were connected by someone who lives near Lee and takes lessons, who had heard about the Bounce platform. They introduced Lee to it. Lee thought what we were doing was a breath of fresh air, because we are, to my knowledge, probably the only company that just allows players and coaches to connect with no intervention. We don't gatekeep. We don't hold the money and then negotiate a deal between lessons. And she thought that was refreshing. So she wanted to be involved. And as you said, she's been this super advocate for us. And she's one of those super personalities in pickleball who can do everything. She does in-person lessons. She does remote lessons. She makes her own video content. She wins gold medals every weekend. So it's been really good to have her on board.
So, Ryan, none of us are born into pickleball. We obviously came from another space. So as the CEO and the founder, what were some of the biggest challenges that you were faced with when building Bounce?
That's a great question. We've had a lot, and we're definitely going to have a lot more ahead of us. I think the first challenge for us was deciding how we could be most useful to the community, right? Obviously, you're going to create a company. The first thing you should think about is how you can actually build something people desire. And again, we were very much focused on accessibility from the start, but we didn't know if that would be focusing on making open play more easier to access, or just giving people a better understanding of where they could play pickleball. So one of the parts of Bounce is we have this massive court finder to help you find places to play. So it did take us, admittedly a few months to figure out what would be the most valuable thing to provide. But then we learned that coaching was it. Players wanted access to really great coaches. Coaches have a hard time managing their business. So luckily we were able to figure that out and overcome it. And now I think as we go forward, the challenges will be, how do we make that experience even easier for players as far as accessing the best coaches and taking lessons? And how do we make it easier for coaches to run their business and provide the most value to players?
Are you ready to elevate your pickleball event to the next level? At Base to Pickle, we specialize in bringing your tournaments to life with expert commentary and compelling content creation.
So where do you see Bounce in the next 5 years?
Good question. There's a lot we want to do, and it could change, obviously, but I think one thing that will stay consistent is how do we innovate in making learning pickleball and teaching pickleball a lot more fun, dynamic, and easier to access. So one of the things we're really going to focus on is how to do that in a remote or virtual manner. So maybe just to share one thing that we're up to now that I think will be important over the next couple of years is in the next few weeks, this month, and I guess you all are the first to know, you and your community, we'll start rolling out different tiers of subscriptions for some of the professional players and professional coaches that want to provide premium content to players. So let's say Lee Whitwell, for example, who we talked about earlier, she'll be able to make customized video content that will live on her coaching page that we'd all be able to subscribe to. And what will be particularly unique about Bounce is that as a player, Bounce has all of my data on where I'm doing well and not so well in my lessons. I'm really, really good with my drops. I'm horrible with serves, for example, which means someone like Lee could then create custom content for all of her followers based on the data she has on our followers, which is 17% of us, our worst shot is our third shot drop, for example. So in that way, we can connect players and coaches across the globe remotely, virtually, but still use personalized data based on what's uniquely important to us.
Very nice, very nice. And do you envision Bounce expanding into other sports or focusing on pickleball for the foreseeable future?
So I think we will most likely continue our focus on, let's say, racket sports more broadly. So we have predominantly pickleball and tennis activity on Bounce now. We're starting to do a little bit more with paddle or padel. It's more than likely that we'll focus here. We really, really want to address the challenges of racket sports specifically, rather than trying to also address basketball or pottery or learning languages or anything else. However, I think it's more likely that as we continue to solve some of these problems, we'll be well positioned to help in other areas of the industry. For example, organizing better open plays or round robins, or helping communities to run their own local leagues.
Now, Ryan, going on with that, for someone who's considering trying Bounce, what's the best way to get started? Are there any particular resources or tools on Bounce.game that you want to point them towards?
Sure. So just heading over to Bounce.game, there are a few things that you can do that are just easy and free. I mean, everything is on free. There's no subscription on Bounce. First, we have, as I mentioned earlier, a massive court finder where you can find all the places to play and where you can join games. We also have a free round robin software where you can just click a couple buttons, create your own round robin, whether it's 4 teams or 40 teams, and it automates the whole thing for you. It goes from a round robin into a single elimination based on the logic. It sends players to the right courts, it records scores, and it's all free. And then from there, you can find the best.
Did you say from 4 teams to 40 teams?
So we've used that to run tournaments with more than 400 players, and with one person. The software automates the entire thing. It sends everybody to the right courts. It keeps tracks of score. It automates the seeding for you when you go from the round robin to the knockout. It's really
impressive.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, Ryan, how can people connect with Bounce? Is it as simple as just downloading the app?
Sure. So you can actually, for the moment, we run the entire app through the browser. So you can just go to whatever browser you'd like to use and go to Bounce.game, and you'll immediately be in the application experience. We will have an app on the App Store in the coming months, but just go to Bounce.game and you can jump right into the experience. It's all free.
All right, Ryan, I love that it's free. I love that the coaching is affordable and it's customizable.
Free 99.
Free 99, that's right. The best price.
Right. So do you have any final thoughts or messages that you'd like to share with our audience about Bounce and joining your journey?
Sure, yeah. Would love to have anyone in the pickleball community on board. Again, we're really focused on helping players to learn and coaches to provide better services. So if you're interested in either one of those, please join us. And yeah, really grateful for you all having me on today. It's been great.
Well, Ryan, we're looking forward to having Bounce as part of the Base to Pickle partnership. And we're looking forward to 2025 and doing some collaborations. And really, the app is impressive. Everything I've seen and the improvements that you've made over the last few months are impressive. So congratulations.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
And it's free.
And it's free.
All right, Ryan, I want to thank you for taking the time from your busy schedule sharing that information with our viewers here on the Base to Pickle Show. Anytime that you have any other happenings or anything you want to launch, feel free to give us a call. I know on behalf of Raul de Castro, I want to thank you once again for being on the Base to Pickle Show.
Thanks, guys. Definitely will.
Take care, Ryan.
Our team knows the game inside and out, delivering engaging narratives that captivate players and spectators alike. We'll provide live updates, insightful interviews, and high-energy broadcasts that highlight thrilling moments on the court. Don't leave your event to chance.
For a complete list of pickleball tournaments, go to FloridaPickleballTournaments.com and stay tuned every Thursday for a new episode of the Base to Pickle Show.
Like we always say,
Pickleball is fun. Let's play.